Finally, Social Security increase to all. It is time. Raises to all Social Security. But it's not exactly what you might think. It's bad. The trigger was just pulled. And all 50 states. Why are they all suddenly getting this? Now, did you know claiming Social Security benefits at 62 is leaving money on the table? Meanwhile, the answer from sources reveals no. Social Security is not sending all beneficiaries checks, which may have something to do with why so many folks are planning to never take their Social Security at age 65. And why? Breaking news for all Social Security, SS, SSI, SSDI, VA, low-income recipients. Major benefits update just announced, and President Joe Biden announces exactly who he is choosing as the newly appointed director to lead the Social Security Administration. And other shocking White House leaks, plus an official White House press release announcing President Biden's intent to nominate Martin O'Malley to be commissioner of the Social Security Administration. Major benefit updates you're not going to want to miss, so please pay close attention. $2,400 Social Security increase of benefits included in the Social Security Expansion Act, and also the Social Security 2100 Act attempts to expand Social Security's modest payments with no cuts and keep the system strong and funded for decades to come. Wouldn't that be a relief and a breath of fresh air so we could all stop worrying about retirement savings? Oh, and I want you all to discover over 100 stimulus checks available now around the nation, and more updates arriving soon. So make sure that you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to click the link in the description and sign up for the free important newsletter. New updates are coming fast, so make sure you keep an eye out for emails from me, Kevin. That's Kevin in all caps. YouTube.com/@Kevin247, because I will be sending you emails with tons of valuable, important, and time-sensitive information that you're not going to get anywhere else. In addition to helpful links in the description to gain access to online money-making opportunities, ways to prepare to protect your wealth, buy and hold hard assets, protect your wealth with gold, as well as becoming official channel members and gaining access to perks only available to members, plus special designation attached to your username so that everyone can see just how long you've been a member of the channel. So, hope that you all enjoy this video and pay very close attention to what I have to share with you, because I have been listening and paying attention to what you all have been saying, and I am with you. Believe me. Here, take a look at the screen. I hear your voices loud and clear, and this is what you've all been saying. Social Security was never to be a fund that government could use for whatever it wanted. It was for those who worked hard and paid into it. The government needs to stop using it as a slush fund, and the government needs to pay back all the money it has taken from SSI over the years. Whenever politicians start talking about reforming Social Security, I get nervous. The reason why things don't get passed to help Social Security is because they always attach things onto new legislation that has nothing to do with the Social Security, and that's why things don't get passed. If they would quit doing things like that, so much could be accomplished in this country. They need to put back what was borrowed from Social Security and stop giving it to illegal residents. And that's why it's so important that we are aware of what just happened, what is happening, and more importantly, how to prepare for what they are planning to do next in the future so we aren't blindsided when it happens. So the answer is, sadly, yes. Yes, the federal government borrows your money from the Social Security funds when they are running low on cash. Like we have seen here recently with the whole U.S. Treasury, Janet Yellen, Kevin McCarthy, Joe Biden, debt ceiling crisis, and dangers and warnings to Social Security. Never mind how Trump said Social Security wouldn't be touched, but this is just another reason why they are trying so hard to bury that man right now.
Under no circumstances should Republicans vote to cut a single penny from Medicare or Social Security to help pay for Joe Biden's reckless spending spree, which is more reckless than anybody's ever done or had in the history of our country. Biden has blown out the federal budget, wasted trillions on left-wing lunacy and the ridiculous Green New Deal, which is a tremendous problem and embarrassment to us, and thrown open our Treasury and our borders to migrants from all over the world. In fact, migrants that are coming from prisons and migrants that are coming from mental institutions are being dropped into the United States, and we do nothing about it. I had the safest border in the history of our country just 2 years ago, and now we have probably the worst border in the history of the world. I don't think any country has ever had anything like we have right now. Well, we absolutely need to stop Biden's out-of-control spending. The pain should be borne by Washington bureaucrats, not by hardworking American families and American seniors. The seniors are being absolutely destroyed in the last 2 years. Cut the hundreds of billions of taxpayer dollars going to corrupt foreign countries. Cut the mass releases of illegal aliens that are depleting our social safety net and destroying our country. Cut the left-wing gender programs from our military. Cut the billions being spent on climate extremism. Cut waste, fraud, and abuse everywhere that we can find it, and there's plenty of it. But do not cut the benefits our seniors worked for and paid for their entire lives. Save Social Security. Don't destroy it. The Democrats are looking to destroy Social Security. We're not going to let them do it. Thank you very much.
So you see, the federal government can borrow money from Social Security funds, but it must pay the money back, plus interest. Money that the government borrows is used to finance governmental operations, similar to how banks use deposits to finance spending by consumers and businesses. Now, I am sure that 99% of us all know that Social Security is mostly funded through a dedicated payroll tax deducted from workers' paychecks, and that Social Security income is deposited into two trust funds, one being the Old Age Survivors Insurance, or the OASI Trust Fund, and two, the second, the other, being the Disability Insurance DI Trust Fund. And these funds are used to pay beneficiaries and cover the costs to run the program. By law, the Social Security Administration, the SSA, says that the government guarantees the money invested in special Treasury bonds and earns interest. And according to Mary Johnson, a Social Security and Medicare policy analyst, and I quote, "Those bonds basically are an IOU from the government to Social Security." So, in other words, the Social Security Trust Fund, which is what is authorized to pay benefits, has been loaning money to the U.S. government. End quote. Now, some have claimed that the government's borrowing from Social Security is, in fact, stealing. But Johnson explained that them sticking their hands in our cookie jar is actually okay. And that, according to the SSA, the government is obligated to pay back borrowed funds and has never failed to do so. Yet. So the simple fact of the matter is that the government is, in fact, in trouble, and they have written far too many checks that they just can't cash. And now they're looking for yet another way out. Perhaps why Elon Musk says Treasury bills are no-brainer, and why Bill Ackman is betting against long-term Treasury bonds, while traders brace for a $102 billion wave of Treasury bond sales. With the deficit hitting 1.39 trillion US dollars, a sobering 170% increase that has traders bracing for a $102 billion auction of Treasury bonds. All right, so Bill Ackman says he's shorting 30-year Treasury bills and that we can expect to see yields that could hit 5.5% soon. Founder of Pershing Square Capital Management said he is short in size on the 30-year U.S. Treasuries, and we all know what that means, right? Get ready, folks. Buckle up. This is most likely going to be it. With expectations of where experts predict inflation rates to go, combined with how surprisingly low U.S. long-term rates have remained in light of structural changes that are likely to lead to higher levels of long-term inflation, including deglobalization, higher defense costs, the energy transition, growing entitlements, and the greater bargaining power of workers. The likely result? According to Ackman, he would be very surprised if we don't find ourselves in a world with persistent sub to mid 3% inflation. And from a supply/demand perspective, long-term treasuries also looked overbought, with $32 trillion of debt and large deficits as far as the eye can see, and higher refinance rates and increasing supply of tea is assured. And when you couple new insurance with QT, it's hard to imagine how the market absorbs such a large increase in supply without materially higher rates. He also mentioned in a tweet posted to Twitter, he has also been puzzled as to why the U.S. Treasury hasn't been financing our government in the longer part of the curve in light of material lower long-term rates. Ultimately, this does not look like prudent term management in his opinion, and then when you consider China's and other countries' desire to decouple financing from the U.S., YCC ending in Japan, increasing the relative appeal of yen bonds versus tea for the largest foreign owner of treasuries, and growing concerns about U.S. governance, fiscal responsibility, and political divisiveness that has been recently referenced in Fitch's downgrade. So simply put, if long-term inflation is 3% instead of 2% and history holds, then we could see the 30-year T yield at 3% plus 0.5%, which is the real rate, plus 2% term premium, or essentially 5.5%. And it can happen soon. Adding that there are many times in history where the bond market reprices the long end of the curve in a matter of weeks, and this seems like one of those times. And that's why we are short in size the 30-year T, first as a hedge on the impact of higher LT rates on stocks, and second because we believe it is a higher probability standalone bet. Now, Bill closes with, there are few macro investments that still offer reasonably profitable asymmetric payoffs, and this is one of them. The best hedges are the ones you would invest in anyway, even if you didn't need the hedge. True. He says that this fits the bill, and also I think we need the hedge. Well, wouldn't you agree? Now, I know this is all basics in macroeconomics, finance, and money for you all, so I won't bother to dissect Ackman's thesis any further. But if you would like more videos on this and deeper dives and discussions, then please make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to check out all the links in the description down below and become an official member of the channel. Our future is beginning to be molded, shaped, and formed as a result of the aftermath from which we all have lived through for these last few years. What lies ahead is going to be based on what we do now and the actions that we take to not only solidify our futures and secure and protect our wealth, but also who we allow to govern and reign over this country for the next presidential term.